पिता नारसिंह සිරියෙන්ද බැබලෙනා අන්න බලං පුත සමිඳුන් වඩිනා සක්්‍ය කුමාර උපන්නේ දෙව්මිනිසුන් පායුග නාමදින්නේ සීල සමාධිය තුල පිහිටන්නේ අන්න
Avasarai Swaminathan. I'm just going to give a quick introduction about SIG. So SIG began 7 years ago under the visionary guidance of Vimalananda Gnanaloka Thero. What started as a small, humble gathering has grown into an integral part of our Vihara, serving as a vibrant bridge between traditionalist Buddhist values and our modern lives here in Melbourne. Our vision is simple but powerful, to empower young people to lead lives inspired by Buddhist principles. We ground everything we do in the Parami, the 10 perfections, to ensure our growth is both spiritual and practical. So what does this look like in action? Spiritually, every Sunday we gather for sutra study or guided meditation. Every quarter we hold a dedicated youth Sil Day to deepen our practice of Dharma, Sila and Bhavana. Culturally, we celebrate our heritage through Vesak dansalas, Bhakti Gi, and even our own talent shows and dance troupes. Socially, we believe the Dhamma lives through our actions. This is why we hold an annual blood donation drive to honour our Vihara's founder, the most venerable Gangodavila Soma Thero. You'll also find us active in the wider Australian community, from Clean Up Australia Day and the Push Up Challenge to our Light Up Mind sessions focused on youth mental well-being. SIG is more than just a committee. It's a family where you can showcase your talents, serve the community, and find like-minded support network. If you feel inspired to be part of this journey, please check out the youth group bulletin, which is right here, or have a chat with any one of us, the committee members, on duty today. We would love to welcome you all into this vibrant community. Thank you, and let's get started with today's program.
Thank you, Hivin. We'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay our respects to the elders past and present. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. On behalf of the Saka Youth Group, my name is Panjali and I'm one of the Dhamma research coordinators here. This afternoon, we are incredibly fortunate and grateful to have a very special guest join us again, Venerable Bambalapitiye Gnanaloka Thero, who will also be referred to as Bante.
Thank you, Panjali. I'm Sudesh, and I'm also a Dhamma research coordinator. Bante is a highly respected Sri Lankan monk known for his deep commitment to meditation and for making the Buddha's teachings clear and practical for everyday life. Bante has spent many years practicing in the forests of Sri Lanka in the Himalayas, following a path of simplicity and solitude.
Thank you, Sudesh. I'm Hivin, and I'm the lead coordinator at SIG, and we're very grateful that Bante has generously given up his time this afternoon to accommodate us. We've prepared some insightful questions ourselves. Many of you submitted fantastic questions to us, and we'll ask those today. There will also be a short time dedicated at the end for a live Q&A session.
So before we begin, just a quick note regarding child safety protocols. We kindly ask all guests to remain within the main hall area and enter and exit only through the main door. The carport and corridor areas are restricted. For restroom use, please use the accessible toilets via the outside entrance, and our volunteers will be there to guide you. We appreciate your cooperation in helping us maintain a safe environment.
Bante, we are very thankful for your presence here today. Before we proceed to ask our first few questions, we respectfully invite you to begin the session. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Saranai. First, I should pay my respects to that great master, that we might get all answers to this universe, to this world, and to that great teaching, and to the people who trod that path to find the truth in this world, and to the elder venerable sirs here, and all in Australia, and to all this, I would say, well, future hope. And when I see you all, it's funny, I'm just seeing myself. At your age only, I was trying to find the meaning of life, some picture, a world picture. Most of you, I think 14, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, at your age anyway, I was in a full search. But I didn't, I'm just remembering before I forget, I hope you have a sutta study and a kind of, well, it's very good. So I thought you should add, like the suttas are very dry at once. It's not very appealing because it's the profoundest truth. It's about our consciousness, our being. And these things are very, at once when it told like that, it's not very analytical immediately or intellectual for you to ponder on. They are just actually, they're actually objects of, you could say, intuition, for intuition to happen. So I would like you to add, if you have the thing that's called Buddhism in Nutshell,
Yes,
by Narada
Narada
Thero.
Thero. Yes.
This is a little bit mixed with science, and it's very little bit digestible to our, you could say, thinking. And then Spectrum of Buddhism,
Yes, Piyadasi Thero.
Piyadasi Thero.
Yes.
And these are the two books actually from my mother's kind of book collection when I was your age. In fact, gave me some idea of Buddha's teaching, but not in a direct way. It was like some kind of intellectual way. But it gave me a kind of direction when I was 14, 15. I was staying in southern Africa, Lesotho. And there it's very similar to here. You have barbecue, you have cricket, and I was very attached to cricket. And in meanwhile, I was searching for some truth. But then Buddha's teaching was not the main thing that I thought I'll find the truth about life. It was physics. Because the environment there, the lecturers or teachers I met, and some small books I got, some ideas of physics concepts like relativity, theory of relativity, really interested me. So I was not just looking at only theory of relativity, like then I used to read my mother's books. And then there are other texts I got, like how the King of Gods come to meet the Buddha, and the Bible and everything I was reading at that time, just to get a world picture. Because the school was not interesting for me. School gave some idea, certain levels, some subjects really interested me, like English literature and all that, Macbeth and all that, it was interesting. But because there's some philosophical, parts to that, explaining life. So one of my teachers, in fact, understood me. He wrote in this thing, Shanaka is searching for a stimulus and fulfillment beyond what we English call school. In fact, today I met a classmate of mine. That was in Sri Lanka, he's now here. And both of us were going to run away from school to become monks. And this was like, we were like 10 years or 9, I think 10 or 9. And at that age, it was very funny, and we were very naughty other times, but 3 days, 4 days, we got this romantic feeling, like we were two monks going around a tree, and it's very funny. And I meet him now today, just a few hours ago. And he remember how I used to put a kind of a board behind my chest, because when you hit a punch to the liver, you get stuck with breath. So in school we know to hit that special spot. So then I realized, I must put a board here. And he was wondering why I was so opening my chest and coming to fight. So this was the type of, like in the other side, I think I would have been the worst kid at school. And at Trinity actually. Then we were very small, like from 10, 11, 12, 13 on. But 14 when I went to Southern Africa, there I became more disciplined. But that energy within went for sports. But 8, 9 or so, 9 and 10, still I can remember is to try to make a machine that works with water, an engine. Because I felt water was easily available, and that if you make an engine that works with water, that you can sort of, you don't need anything. You can just go on forever. So something regarding forever, I was searching. After a long time speaking English, okay, so forgive me. But I don't have your Australian accent, okay? But you do understand my English, do you? I hope so.
We do, yeah.
Okay, so, but anyway, so I went. But I had other difficulties also at that age. Nobody taught me. I was going to, maybe I'll touch those points also. Like in Southern Africa, my period of puberty, like this period, 14, 15, it was not easy. All hormones were working in the body. So luckily, like today, you don't have cell phones. So that time we had, it was very difficult to, get something which is distracting. But our imagination worked a lot. And even the smallest thing, we got distracted. So I want to touch this topic because I wish someone explained to us much better at that time. Because more than going to school or anywhere, you should know that we have a certain power in our brain. If we tap that power, all sort of energy and knowledge can come out of us. All right. So it starts when you're very young. Unfortunately, in this period of in our particular civilization, this knowledge is zero. We think we are just like just people, and we are just trained for only one part of the world, that is how to live. But we have zero knowledge about life. Okay, so and the life forces, we have something called life force within us. So these forces, we must harness them. So sometimes due to maybe like meeting us, or even people like Somahandro. Have you known about Somahandro? Have you heard anything about the monk over here? What do you think? What kind of monk you would have been? You see? Have you seen him?
Bante,
Very small.
I was very small, though. When Bante actually passed away. But yeah, Bante was a very powerful. He rallied a lot of. He gathered the youth. He had a very powerful aura and a powerful presence, and he spoke directly. I used the Buddha's words, and
correct. He was very powerful. How did he get that power? It is actually a certain. He has only gone for, as far as I know, only for you have O levels here. I don't think he even passed the O levels. You see, in school. I think some of you are happy, maybe I can make it. Okay. Yes, you can. I am also not a person who, but I'm not telling don't neglect your studies. Make sure you study well. You must make sure your parents are waiting for that, looking at you. So really to please them with that idea, you should do that. But there are other things I hope you can know from young age. If you can develop that, you can be very special. So I found in him also, there's something called, I normally explain, you see, when you get distracted or when you have sensual experiences with your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, all right, you normally have a fleeting experience, okay? And after it is finished, it's gone. So again you go for something, all right? So now today it may be computer games, it can be any other thing which is entertaining, which is more addictive for us, we keep on doing it. So that is in the sensual line. So we also have for example, like maybe food or simple things we normally do. We have a special type of food we like to eat. And we go on. But in our system, it's a universal law within us that, you see, it's told by the great masters of who knew about the internal world. whoever increases desires within them, they increase their suffering. Okay? So I don't think some of you at your age, I don't know, so what happens normally, we go in that direction. Okay, we normally go in that path where just giving some enjoyment for playing or whatever. That's all good, we need to do that. But then things that make us by overstimulating our senses, anything we allow like that, inwardly the craving increases so much. Okay? So after you have experienced that, you need more of what was giving you that stimulation to get that feeling. So it's like a downward kind of this thing. So after all experiences like that, your craving starts to increase within you, your nature of craving. Okay? So it's a universal law, the suffering should increase. And suddenly, if you are lucky, we can be just sane. Otherwise, sometimes if we are unlucky, we had some, we call sometimes some bad destiny or some karma for some reason. We get certain disturbance in mind even at a young age today. We call it depression, we call it, some, I don't know, maybe there are other names given. So this can happen even to a very young age today in the modern times. Especially with the devices. So with the devices normally, I know nobody knows, there's always the side effects of it. Say for example, you have a vehicle, in here, what is the age for you to have the license? Somebody told me 16, right? But I think 18 at least should be. 16 is still too young. All right. Anyway, because I remember in Southern Africa, when we went on a holiday, my father's friend's child, he was given a car, in fact. So he took me in the car, and I was thinking whether I will come back alive. He was driving, all in these narrow lanes. I'm a brave person too, 14, 15, but I don't want to die with that idiot. It's, I rather, for just a small few minutes I am there, and then I had to pass my life. Anyway, we managed to come back, okay? And when we came back, okay, we played all these games and all that. After 6 months, after 1 year, we went back for a holiday to their place. It was in Durban, I remember, the seashore. To see he has broken all his teeth and fractured here and there. To see he has met with an accident, no doubt. And the person who was with him, 2, 3 friends have been there, one person has died. Okay? So for all kind of technology, there is certain danger. So at least this technology, this damage you can see. All right, that's why these rules and everything is given for your protection. So just imagine the devices, those damages are not shown in the body externally. They're shown in your behavior. Because those damages happen to your mind. It happens to your mind. And I have told in the previous programs how certain, when you have certain level of vibration, corresponding to that vibration, certain dimensions are open. Okay? Certain type of consciousness, say violence or whether it is sensual desires, when you allow these things, then a certain level of what is this? You could say the reptilian brain, it's activated. So corresponding to that, a certain exactly corresponding to that, certain dimensions which is invisible to us, they get open. And those certain entities that are there, they get connected to us. That's why suddenly we become so much different. We don't know what we did. Okay? So this is the extreme things we could happen. It can happen. And in this way you find what's his name? Zuckerberg. You have listened to some of my Mark Zuckerberg, he's like the parents. They are having so many complaints, like not complaints, lawsuits, against him, because some of them have commit suicide. Okay? Commit suicide, and then because they have a lot of money, they can just, sort of come out of that, this thing. So this kind of damage is there. What you call it? ADH something, no? ADH?
ADHD. Bante,
ADHD.
attention deficit.
How do you say?
Hyper-
Attention deficiency, what?
Attention deficit.
Attention.
Hyperfront-
They also have problem with that,
Disorder.
attention deficiency.
I think it's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or disorder.
Okay. So
Double check
luckily
that. Someone
these
can do
things
a quick
also.
search.
Sorry.
I think someone can do a quick Google search to double check the exact meaning
Okay,
of the.
but that will,
acronym.
you will get to know what it is. At least you remember ADHD, some attention deficiency something. Okay, those two words explain themselves too. So in fact, this will happen. Okay, so so there are like this so many things that could happen from this. These are invisible damages that can happen. So one has to be really cautious of, and if, I mean, I don't know how far you know about karma and all that, you know, previous lives, and do you believe in that? Do you believe, or do you have some proof about it?
But we have some questions actually for you regarding some of these
Those
topics as
things.
well. Yeah, but I'll let you finish.
Okay, I
up.
just explain this, then maybe it answers this
course,
thing
yeah.
also. This is
Definitely,
coming
Bante.
to my mind. Do you believe in karma? Anyone knows about karma? Do you think karma is a real thing? I mean, from previous life? Why? Because one Bante told you, or is it because your mother told you? What do you think? All right. Because I would like to know any proof about it, how it really works. You know, can we prove it? Can we have idea, like we can see a pattern in things that we can really relate to that? I do have actually. Okay. I also, who don't have, I have told them to read this book called Edgar Cayce, Many Mansions. Very interesting. He was called the Miracle Man of Virginia. I think all of you are familiar with his books, or do you know his name? No.
We have some books in the library, Bante.
You do
from
have?
Edgar Cayce, and Ian Stevenson, and a few others.
Okay, these are good background reading, okay, for you to get a kind of a really feel of karma. Recently something happened 1 month back to me. I must tell you all, like, you know, like I was in India, okay. When I was traveling in India, you know, sometimes I'm very busy now giving teachings and you know, giving. I'm a lot in the public now. So, but when I get little time, I go to India. So last month I was in India, and it was like you know, I have some connection with you could say certain seers in India, like who have knowledge of karma and things like that, you know, who have done meditation. And not everybody in the modern time, we find hoax too much, you know, but really genuine things, if we are lucky, if you're also good enough, we might get some good connections. And so this similar kind of meditators I know. So they have in a way they sent a message, okay, like before 8, 9, 10 last month, okay, before these days they sent a message, but the message came to me after, I think maybe 14th, 15th, okay, like that, last month. So what happened was, the message was that on the 8th, 9th, 10th, you will, somebody who is close to you will cheat on you, okay, who has been close to you, which, you know, cheat you in these days, these coming days, 8, 9, 10. And because, why is it coming to you? Because what you have cheated, you have cheated in the past lives, that karma is going to come to you in these days. Okay? It actually happened to me. It's very interesting. This particular, I mean, he's a very old, like 5 years, 6, maybe 10 years. He has been taking me in southern part of India, but he's a little poor. So he handles the money for the paying of, so one guest house, when he put me, it's like maybe 1,200 Indian rupees. So he actually counted as 2,000. Okay. So it would not this thing, I suddenly felt like going to the reception while going to the room, which I don't normally do, because in southern India, I sort of disguise myself a bit. There's some problem, the monks in the past, the LTT, I was with LTT walking through the area, but now they don't know, maybe some who have anger and grudge still, some monks were assaulted. So I allow him to completely, I don't give my kind of identity too much to the people. So anyway, that time I just passed by and asked how much. I was having something was telling in my heart. I asked, what is this? How much is for the room? He said 1,200. Then to double check, I asked a question. But if I knew this, that it was something I have done, of course, at once that didn't come to me. But of course, I know that these things are like, this is not real. I will explain about that. Like the consciousness is not real and these things. So to some extent, my reaction was, you could say, not too aggressive. But it was not perfect, I must tell you. I'm not still perfect yet to, there's something I put some pressure on him in a way. But whole night he didn't sleep, I'm sure. I did sleep, but I was feeling disillusioned a bit. But then this is the disillusion I have created in somebody else, remember. So it comes to you back. So these are things I recognized when I was a young boy also, with my parents. Like with my father, we were not like getting on, like he was going one direction, I was thinking one direction. We were not lying with same thinking. When we were young, yes, but when I was like after age of 18, when I was getting more spiritual, we were like, poles apart. So with my father, that also it came to my realization, due to my past karma, how this father is coming, and to his karma, I am coming. But this is all in meditation. When I was calm and in like meditating, there's suddenly like a spark, like insights into the real working of what we are going through. So that brings you peace. It gave me peace. So the reason I want to tell, like, I was telling something, so with certain things that you experience, it also has something related with your past karma, okay? So due to some past karma, if you have something that is, coming to you, and the best way to react is, because it's always with attachment that you have created karma, if you get detached from the experience, that's the best way to stop that karma, okay? So I was talking about that if you increase the, you can say, desires, if you allow the transient experiences, like for example, these gadgets, they're like a catalyst for those karma to happen. Why? Normally this kind of things for you to happen, you need to be in contact with the sense world, all right? So it enhances your contact with the sense world, okay? So you have the phone, not only these things around you you experience things far away, okay? So it gives you very fast more stimulation, and then it multiplies the possibility of your you see the type of effects you have to get, okay? So these are like gadgets which anything that enhances our sensual world experiences. It is good for normal purposes of, like even the GPS and things like that. But controlling our mind, controlling our emotions, no. So we must learn to really use it for only that purpose, but not for any other purpose. After knowing its danger. So I know one girl also, like 30 in Sri Lanka. I know her very well, in a sense, their family and all that. And I know she's a very special girl, like I would say a very special destined person. But I found her suddenly being, you could say, going through a hard time at a certain age, like 13. And she was sent to an international school in Sri Lanka. They were actually from very poor family. So they couldn't afford, but they borrowed and everything. So they were having high expectations of her. But anyway, they valued this kind of thing, and they put her to this international school. Her English was very good. I'm really happy, like they are really coming from a very backward family. But I'm so happy that she was polished and everything. But they don't know what they're going to go through in the international school. I hope here is not that way. But in the schools I went to in Southern Africa, also terrible, super terrible, super terrible. Okay, from that time I didn't think of it that way. So anyway, when she went to these schools, then they have this overnight stay. Overnight, or what do you call it?
Sleepover, Bante?
Sleepover. I'm sorry, sleepover. So where do you have it here? I don't know what kind of international schools you go. Like, do you have like all Sri Lankan this thing, or is it?
From my experience, I think a lot of our parents are against that. Would that be true?
Okay,
A lot of the
okay.
parents, yeah.
They're against that. Okay, that
Getting a few
culture.
nods.
That culture is wonderful.
Yeah.
It protects you. Okay, so in one of those sleepovers, there's some incident where, at that age, she went. Just it triggered a kind of this thing of going in the wrong direction, and then later on, this grandmother actually wanted. Grandmother is a known friend of mine, so she wanted her to meet me, and when she came to me, I remember the grandmother asking, have you taken a bath, like wash? Then she said, yes, Acha, and then she came and sat down, and she told everything what happened to her. She said that she has got addicted with the phone for the last 2 years, and what happened like in the sleepover and all these problems, and then after that she's happened to I think maybe use the phone in a wrong way. Okay, you might have to use your imagination, all right, and in that way recently she was getting the smell of poo smell around her. How much she take a bath or whatever, so I can understand what it is. Just invited all this negative energy, negative forces, because when you activate those negative emotions, you bring in, as I told you, these dimensions are open, and these are brought close to you. And later on, you are not, why you get addicted? Because you are not in control. There are so many other forces in control. So when it becomes very, not only visible, you smell it to this thing, then you know something wrong has happened. Okay, so these are kind of this. You can unwind those situations also. Okay, there's another way, just to tell you how you have to be cautious of this. So when you increase your desires, activate your desires, what happens is that, as I told you, the craving increase within you. Okay, so majority of people, not only young people, almost now everybody, what happened? You see that they cannot be made happy. They cannot be satisfied. All right, so when you look at them, you can see they have a kind of a sadness without a reason. They have food, they have shelter, they have everything around them, but they have a sadness or have this thing without any reason. Okay, so this is the one path. If you go that direction, you're going to be such a person. You might know another alternative, you might not know. Now if you discipline yourself the other way, say some addictions are there, you change yourself for 3 days, but it is 3 days you discipline yourself, 1 week, and you continue like that. Then what happens? Slowly, the parts of your even brain that was damaged, they will start to repair, like detoxing yourself. Okay, so I will tell you, we may always try. We want to be like that, but we can't really do it. I have found a new way, which will help you all really to make it happen. Okay. So if that happens, if you continue to do like that, then what happens? You will be curtailing that craving nature in you, okay, and you will be having some self-mastery. Then what happens as you continue? You will get this other effect, which I call happiness without a reason. Okay. And there are some cultures where people are in that way. You find they also look mad. Why are they happy without any reason? Okay, I think this is something you must think of changing your life towards. So last one, and I will give you to us. Okay, just some points I will tell you. It's Somahandru himself explained one time, very nice one, regarding our hormonal activities. Say if you have now normally even the phone and everything, the short videos, like the doom scrolling, you call it, right? That you're going through this. It's the dopamine that this is in TikTok or whatever. We would rather have small videos. Why? Because we are addicted to the dopamine. So this way we will, you could say that most of the things are more than, I got to know even games. It's actually like the neurons that are working very similar to the heroin addict. Don't worry, you're not heroin addicts. Okay, okay. But really, research in Oxford and Cambridge, this research was done, that the same kind of neuronal functioning, like how they light up, similar to a heroin addict. So I can imagine, like, especially some games are banned. Why? Because they have cases where they commit suicide. All right, I don't know, Blue Whale or something. Those days I heard one game. But so many others we don't know, because they want to sell this. They are on an economical kind of journey. They don't care about human lives. So this is, there is some activity. So whenever we have a kind of a emotion, say for example fear or anger, a chemical reaction happens, a hormonal reaction happens in our body. Okay? So especially when you get fearful or angry, there's something called adrenaline. Have you heard about that? So adrenaline hormones, they get created in the body. Okay? It is known that those hormones make you have those thoughts. All right? So when you do have those thoughts again, they increase the other way. So there's like a, they're like cyclic. When this is happening, that happens, that makes you have these thoughts. So more of this happens. So Bante, Somahamdro, one day he actually explained, then if you do some discipline, if you chant, if you direct your mind to a certain direction, and if you reduce those negative thoughts and emotions, get compassion and willpower and knowledge, wisdom, then something should happen, he said. So he named it those days minus adrenaline, Rina adrenaline. In Sinhala it's called Rina. Rina means minus, okay? Minus adrenaline. Then suddenly I remembered the name. I said, Bante, Ojas? Ojas is a Ayurvedic term. Then he said, yes. And then next Bana he was having in Vajrarama in Sri Lanka. I was in one of the guest rooms. And when he came to explain this part, he suddenly put this word Ojas. He's also like an empty mind, like he can be so creative to soothe the audience and so on. That's the beauty of such a, we'll never find those monks like that. Because they trained their brain, this way. They had not big education, but they tapped the potential of our brain. Okay, so then this ojas actually moves moves to the brain, and it opens up areas of the brain that was not open before, and they get deposited. And that particular ojas, it actually makes you have those thoughts, those positive thoughts. Okay, so that starts to increase more and more. So especially if you have devotion, if you have a kind of like very energetic thoughts, belief also, and samadhi and sense control, if you keep away from all these things that are overstimulating and you sense control and have peacefulness, tranquility, special type of ojas is created. And that when it goes more of that, your skin, your personality, your aura, your surroundings start to change. Especially your skin, it becomes like baby skin. And I tell that more of that is created, you get a shine in your cheek and forehead. Don't lose that shine. Otherwise you look like a ghost normally. Okay. So I say when you have developed that, you don't have to apply what you call it, Nivea. And here you have Nivea or Fair and Lovely, I don't know. Right?
Elaborate skincare routines these days, Bante.
So I know critics will now tell Bante is talking about this beauty salon thing, I think. No, okay, this I have been explaining. So you will get that particular beauty. Now, even what is this beauty pageants, these models, they do yoga for this purpose. Not for anything else, they do for relaxation, this and that, so that the charming thing is got out of them. Okay? Definitely, it will affect your body when your character, it starts to increase. You might have even a dark skin, but it will be a shiny skin. Because, that ojas. And when you analyze, contemplate, there's something else called tejas that is more potent than ojas. You could see Bante, if you saw him personally, he seemed to have generated that. It's like, you see like someone very out of space, like that shine, that energetic, this thing, even in his body. Okay, so this can happen to us because he went through reading the suttas and like he told us how to do it also, contemplating. That's a special type of exercise where it is going into deeper dispassion. Okay, deeper dispassion means it's tapping very special type of very fine positive you could say substance within us, and they start to deposit in the body. So I don't want to go further. Okay. You want to ask?
Thank you very much, Bante, for sharing. There's also something we came across which said addiction is a progressive narrowing of the things that bring you pleasure, and happiness is a progressive expansion of the things that bring you pleasure. So it reminds me of what you were saying about the addiction, how it narrows what we find happiness
And it's a
in,
downhill.
and it makes us
Just,
miserable at the end of the day. And then happiness, what we are doing.
You know,
at
like
this part-
addicted people, they don't look joyful, do they? Look at Philadelphia, Philadelphia, right? In America, they take videos, and I really, it's sad. It's not a thing to be made fun of even. You know, I don't know whether you have here also, I'm sure, places where they are just collapsing. So that is okay. That's in the most extreme case. Put 100.
Sanse, thank you very much for that. Our first question, Bante, if we're being honest, many of us grow up around Buddhism, but don't actually understand what it is beyond things like going to the temple, doing a puja, maybe offering some flowers, with language and cultural barriers, because the Banas are in Sinhala. Most of you probably know the scriptures, the Pali, in different language. It can feel a bit distant, abstract, difficult to connect with. So for someone with this background, Bante, where do we actually start, and how can we begin to understand and experience the Dhamma in a real and meaningful way in our lives, Bante? So with our background, not in
it's
Sri
a
Lanka.
good you don't have this background. Because, but also it's not good to be one-sided, Sometimes I got to know last trip, they told me that they're mostly atheist or something. So I think, why should you be that also, How have you got any proof that, the other worlds or other things do not exist? If you don't have clear proof also, and then you make a conclusion, it's like a one-sided research, you understand? You have to keep yourself open. And you have to make this research. You must even be ready to know the truths from even a beggar or someone. That kind of passion should be there, I think. Then, otherwise it's like, I know a lot of kids, they really hate, because parents are always going to the temple. Okay, I'm sure here there's some kind of, the parents have done some magic and made you to come here, I'm sure. Okay, because I think majority of them, they don't want to step in to the temples and all that. They see their parents day and night going to temples and all that. Even I felt a similar one with my mother, in fact, but I saw her meditating. So for your question, as I told you, that's why I told you, like a spectrum of Buddhism. And they must learn to read, and they must also try to, this is very common now, as I told you, ADH and all that, trying to control you from the phone and all that. And you have to get some knowledge about life coaching. That's very important. So that will very help you. I recommend one thing called Grim Hustler, did I told last time? But he tells a foul one word, but he's very cool. He really puts it in the head, that how you should get up early, why should you reduce your screen time, and this kind of thing for you to be a successful person. Now these are general things you must bring to get peace of mind, and also to prepare yourself for the future, to make the best version of yourself. You understand? So this is, I think, I don't care where this comes from, Buddhism or anything. It is this knowledge is very important, I think. So even like what is this? Edgar Cayce, many mentions. Even Mahatma Gandhi's My Experiment with Truth. They can, all these ideas put into your head can really stir you in a different direction, and you will learn to see Buddhism also, not in terms of culture or anything, to its qualities, principles, like that.
There's also a few youth.
Those are universal.
Thank you, but there was a few youth these days actually interested in like Greek philosophy, Stoicism, psychology, for studying. These are also very.
But try to find
topics.
people who have made an impact on society, not some people who made a research and if a book is there, nobody's reading, nobody's going to it. So like people who are famous, who have done something, who have made a mark, like I see like even Swami Vivekananda, then even Mahatma Gandhi, even Somahamdru, their life, it was in Sri Lanka only, but still it was a big historical impact. Okay, so like this people, you can get something. They had some same line, they had some discipline, and they had, I would like you all also to be something special in life, you understand? So these things, it's up to you. It's not from your grades or any other thing you'll get it. It's from your own self-doing. Okay?
Thank you very much, Bante. I'll just pass David for the next question.
Oh, sorry, so I want to answer. So many young people today are caught up in the daily grind of studying, working, commuting, often under various pressures.
Working also, sorry. Working also?
Like, yeah,
Part-time
part-time work.
working. I mean, how many of you, I think young age, maybe not, or they do? Some do? Maybe,
yeah, I
yes.
mean, could we have a raise of hands of people who are working, perhaps, maybe, part-time?
Okay, that's
Yep.
quite, good for you.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, got a room full of hustlers.
You're not,
Um,
okay.
So, so studying, working, commuting, often-
That's quite tough. Okay. Okay.
Often under various pressures and dealing with stress, and end up feeling mentally drained or burnt
Yeah,
out. When this happens, we often end up looking for ways to escape or cope, but it doesn't really solve the problem. How can we instead approach our day-to-day life in a way that doesn't lead to burnt out, but brings a sense of calm, energy, and freshness?
Burnout crisis is a bit of a burnout crisis. Like a lot of us studying, a lot of pressures from sometimes from parents or academically, study, or work, and it's just the pressure, the stress, and then we turn to various things, maybe these phones, we turn to these things for quick relief, Bante, and we don't have time for usually meditation, and then a lot of the burnout is the one thing that a lot of young generation are experiencing as well. Oh, sorry.
So if it happens to a vehicle, what do you do? If this burnout thing happens to a vehicle, what do we do normally? We put it into a garage, right? So you can't put it in, like this is coming to a garage in a way, hopefully. At young age, if you want to get super energy to do all these things, that's one thing. The more the pleasure, more the energy is lost from you. Okay, I can tell you how to conserve the energy and how to now. People also wonder how I am doing program here, and all that. Okay, there's one thing. I have dedicated myself and I have harnessed certain energy to the service of others. Okay, so there's one thing that can bring. It is actually from your character. Okay, and the main thing how you get your character is your self-discipline. Okay, so anything that you have where a lot of pleasure, lot of thing is experience. Of course, drugs and all that has tremendous this thing, and then you lose so much energy, you're finished, you're gone. You can't do even normal things, you can't even exist. Okay, but there are other things which we call related to, I don't know whether I should tell this, but related to sex, for example. Okay, so there, even at that stage, we had, that's a very strong outlet, very strong this thing, because a lot of dopamine is released. But at that level of release, there's so much energy lost that you are going to not make it anyway. You are going to double, treble your, your feeling of stressed out and this thing. So, I find even in the Western communities, they have got a practice. They are doing it. It's called no-fap. Okay. So in the past, in the old and ancient time, this was called Kumara Brahmacharya, prince celibacy. Okay. So these were done because it was stressful for studies and training those days for warfare and all that. So these schools, they had this compulsory from that stage where they were gathering energy, gathering knowledge and all that to face that stress. They had that discipline, and it was explained well how to do it and what it is. Today no one talks about it. Even I'm telling like this, it will be one monk only. Okay, so this is very important. It's a very scientific, and there's a way how other Western cultures, Western people, they are doing this. So in the YouTube you'll find also no-fap, N-O-F-A-P-P. I had told about this. So this, I think this like for 3 days, 1 week, there's a way how to do it, and whatever that will stimulate, you learn to how not to trigger to that point. There are ways who have done it, they have got some experience, and this is going to generate a lot of things that you're going to get a lot of resources or energy within you, a life force energy that is going to practically make you overcome this, being burnout. So this is very important. There's no other shortcut as far as I know. But not only restraining that, there's a way to channel it further within you to a cooler, and because it's just like raw material, you have it when you keep it. But the raw material have to be made to refined. So that is where some kind of spiritual exercise you need, of chanting, okay, or some kind of reciting, or even sometimes a kind of, and this sort of exercise of wishing compassion to all living beings, visualizing that. So this exercise and watching the breath, these things, if you do 5 minutes, you'll find suddenly you are gaining a lot of energy. And then when you're walking, how to walk, you see to pay attention to the simplest thing. Okay? Sometimes you are thinking of something that has happened, or what you're going to do. In the tram car, for example. You have tram cars here? Tram car or this thing. When you're going, I have seen people in India, I was surprised, this guy is watching from the phone. I was behind him. In the Islam religion, there is something called Yusuf. I know that prophet, I have read about, I have actually known about him. It's inspiring. It's like a bodhisattva, someone who might become a Buddha one day. So his life story, those stories he's reading, he's seeing from the phone. Now that is a very good technique, because when your mind is directed to things that are, like of these ancient saints, that energy, life force energy is coming to you. Okay? Then what will be different is that you won't be tired when you're going on that journey. That means you have meditated and done that activity. So you just have to learn that art where you are, that means you can bring your mind to the present moment, one thing, and make it energized. So this will not come suddenly if I tell you and you just go there. You have to, it's not natural for us. So you have to tell yourself again and again, to remind yourself just to look at the flow that is there, just to hear to the present sounds, and like that you again go back to the past and the future. Again you have to remind, again like that. Then you find suddenly you're getting some hold of it. Okay? And even to feel the seat that you're seated, to feel you can train your brain that way. And not to look at any girls or ladies with this thing. Because I practiced that way when I was young like you all. Like you put rules to yourself. Anything beautiful, anything this thing you not see. But these things you start in the morning. You must get that certain exercise where you are promising to the Buddha, or that's where the prayer comes. Okay? Because even something you want to change in yourself, you have to have a force. Without a force you can't, So I find in the modern times, how many of you have taken precepts? For example, like you have prayed, like you have trailed the gathas to Buddha Sarnam Gacchami, Dhamma Sarnam Gacchami, and then you have said what? Panatipata Veramani, Adinadana Veramani, like that, okay? So after doing that, have you noticed that you're breaking those things sometimes? What do you think? It does break sometimes, right? So there's a way how to do this actually, where these things actually they are there to protect you. We think we are protecting these rules and all that. They are to protect you. There's a bigger picture of these rules, how they are laid down. Okay? Sometimes your thoughts, words and deeds are the main steering wheel of your destiny. Sometimes you find that these deeds, especially the physical and verbal intentional activity you do or speech you say, this is we call strong karma. To protect you in those ones only, these rules are being given. As I told you, sometimes your life gets stagnated. Your life is you don't know where it's going, and you find certain temptations are overpowering you again and again, and like you can't come out of it. Okay? So these things happen. It won't come accidentally. It's like a same thing you have done in the past, and life is bringing to you like a test whether you pass it. So you're always failing that, and whenever you're failing, you're putting seeds for the future. It's going to be more hard for you. Until you really can stop it, then you are able to sort of hold it and stop it again, then it begins to fade away. Alright? So how to do that? That's why we have this going refuge to the master, who is like a force. But the problem is the way we take the refuge is normally not intense. It is actually very lightly we are doing it. It's not making a big impact. Say you put on robes with the initiation process and all that. With that, when you do that, with the ritual and all these things, your parents present, it's not easy to break it. It psychologically goes very deep into you. So there's a way for you, without putting the robes, I tell you, that you can do that. where you will get that force. Okay? It is actually like this. I have told like people who have some problems, even now young people came to me yesterday, day before, like so deep, so much depression. Medicine is being given, but the fearfulness and things that 6 months this girl is suffering. Okay, there's no solution, but I have solution for this. So I have told like people who have cancer and unsolvable problems, I talked about the certain thing to be done with the Bodhi tree. Okay, the Bodhi tree is not just a tree. It has some invisible energy and it has its own universe there. So it's actually, unless you can think about it that way and get that idea, you will not give that life to that part of the tree. So I have told how the Buddha has looked at it for 1 week and made his kind of prayer or this thing. Buddha can't pray anybody. But this is the only object that was able in this universe to withstand the prayer of a Buddha. So he's showing his gratitude. Okay? So this has some energy stored. And Buddha told one time when he's not there, if someone brings, like Jetvanarame, they bring all offerings to him. Sometimes he's not there, people get disappointed and go. So he told to have this tree that they can offer this particular, this thing to the tree. Now this is not a tree, this is called Mahabodhi. So I tell people how to offer their problems in a certain way, or to have a talk with the tree, okay, with Bodhi tree, thinking it represents the Buddha's body, and how to do that for like few days, where they will get some solution which is possible for them. Then recently I added a kind of a Buddha statue to be kept near your bed. Okay, this is after I see in tsunami, where all this, like you can see the rail tracks and all that being this thing. But this Buddha statue is remaining. Not one place, 2 places, so many places. So you should know that it's not just a statue. If you think like that, it will be. But if you develop this faith, if you develop with some understanding, not just blind faith, with sort of seeing how it has happened, and with those facts, you begin to know that there's some unseen thing that is there. If you think like that and give some faith to that, you find suddenly a certain entire force opens to you. I mean, hopefully I'm not telling your parents, maybe older people, if their parents passed away, if they have a picture of their parents, they have a feeling that they are like looking after them, like they are there somewhere. Okay? Why do they feel? Why do the children feel like that? Because of the purity of the parents' love for the child. Okay? The same way, Buddha, you can imagine, a selfless master to all the living beings, how much mystical force he must be having. So if you if you do build up that faith, and early morning if you can put a water there, you find, and then you can have a conversation, whatever problem you have, if you can tell. And this thing, even if you have anything, even the smallest problem, I see that connection will start to give you some mystical support. So now regarding this thing that you break, like say you want to control the watching the phone or whatever, or you want to change your life, or any other habit you are having, you are struggling with, what you can do is, you can make a promise to the Buddha statue beside you. Now I know some people say, how can I keep a Buddha statue in my private space? Okay, if there's a problem, put it in the hall or put it in some place first. Slowly change your life where you can bring the statue closer to your bed. Okay, but otherwise, okay, do that. Early morning when you get up, say something you break constantly. You can promise to the Buddha in that building up your faith. Think of the tsunami and also Ditwa, no? Recently, the Ditwa in Sri Lanka. There also you find so many statues here and there, all gone. This is there. Okay, so you can recall like that, and then you can promise to him forever until I die, I will not break this. Now I know it's hard for you to do like that, because you didn't do like that in the past. That's why you're breaking it still. Okay, don't worry. Buddha will not punish you if you break. Of course, that energy will lessen if you break, but you do like that. Be fearless, and you will see that promise, the way you do like that, will last. You can keep it longer. Okay, and you will break again. Okay, But again you make that promise, then it will become longer. And then finally you will be able to overcome this. So try this. This is like a bulldozer to your life, where all this, I think the modern time you need this kind of, this I thought is very necessary, because you don't have these tools. I don't think practically you can actually, you will have these so many overwhelming problems coming to you, and you will not have a smooth this thing to at least start in a solid way. Sorry, I talk a lot, because I'm now a champion of talking everywhere.
Oh, sorry, Bante. Bante, many young... Oh, sorry.
Are you feeling, sorry, do you feel all hot? No? I trace you. I know you try to hide everywhere, but I can see you. Okay, no problem. All right.
Bante, many young people today feel unsure about their direction in life and don't really know what they're working towards. At the same time, a lot of us find ourselves constantly chasing things, whether it's relationships, experiences, or just trying to feel good. But it doesn't really seem to last. From the perspective of the Dhamma, what should we be aiming for in our lives, and what qualities should we be developing as lay people?
What qualities? Or what?
Should we be developing as lay people?
I think I told about that, but not the meaning, what we should pursue. I know at your age, that age, we all experience that. And I think more you don't find a meaning is better. Someone just gets settled with something. I know it's like very comforting to many. More you find you're settled with something, this is your like normal life. If you're unsettled and going on, there's something special waiting for you. Okay. So what I think is better to, whatever certain things you might have to do, but one thing very important, the meaning of life for you to get, or to direction for your own, each person's individual person you should get. I think very important, first you must at your age really be careful with your parents. Okay? Careful in the sense, you should not try to make them upset or hurt or disappointed in any way. Okay? That will make you more lost in life. For sure. It is said that it's like putting hot water when a father gets upset, to the roots. What happened to the leaves of this thing? It gets yellow. That means it slowly dies. All right. And the other one, if you cut the roots, it dies very fast. That's the mother. All right. So these two you have to be careful. In the beginning, I also did think should take these things seriously, but luckily I didn't mess it up. Because with my father, later I found a little bit like we were not in the same page, but luckily I didn't mess it up. Because for you to be successful in whatever way you are going to do in life, this foundation is very important, because you will have that driving force, nothing to regret, nothing to have remorse. And like a wave of blessing is very important for your future. Okay? That is for sure you get it. You don't see the Buddha, you don't see gods, but they are there. Okay? There's some element of that divineness in them. Okay? That is very important. And other thing is to make yourself like character-wise and centered, and then face life. Okay? Then you'll find your calling. It will come to you slowly. So if you have a stronger foundation and a stronger, like you have become the best version of yourself in a way, then certain things will open up to you and the meaning will come. Okay, what direction you should take, it will come to you. But always make sure that you are doing with the intention of making your mother and father, who have a gut feeling, happy and they are at peace. But if they tell you to do something wrong, for example, to lie or to steal or something, that you don't do. But other things, they might tell you to study something, work some way, just do it. It's a blessing you have the parents to tell you like that. Okay? And that protection is there. I don't know whether you know about, I'm not going to explain, it's going to be too long. My explanations will be, I'm remembering about Moses, who brought 10 commandments to this world in the Christian Old Testament, right? So he was known as there was like a light he used to see in the mountains, and there they used to call it God, you see. So there, when he went fast and meditate, he used to get that experience. So he used to communicate that to the people. He was called a prophet. Okay, so he brought those 10 commandments. Okay, not to steal, not to lie, and all these things. So then he used to go whenever he had problems or something. He used to go to the mountain. Now one time when he was quite old, he was going to the mountain, and there was a lady. He was passing the last village, and there from a house, this old lady said, "Be careful this time." Then he asked, "Why? You have seen me many times, but why are you telling this time to be careful?" He said, "Your mother has passed away. There's nobody to pray for you the way your mother prays for you. So now be careful with the devil." So there, because his mother has passed away few months back or before after his previous visit. So there, this is very important. Okay, that's your parents to get a direction. Let me see. Finally, according to my knowledge of the Buddha's teaching, if you try to know, the real thing is that somebody asked one time, what is the meaning of life, for example. What do you think? What do you all think that what is the meaning of life? Does anyone have an answer for that?
Bante, are we allowed to answer?
Sorry?
Are we allowed to answer?
Not yours.
Not all.
But if it did get delay, I will ask you. Anyone just try. What is the meaning of life? What do you think? What do you think the real meaning of life? Somebody there? Oh, there's one there.
Maybe learn from your mistakes.
Sorry, maybe?
Learn from your mistakes.
Learn from the mistakes?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's very good. Yeah, that is that's very good. And there's another one here. What is the meaning of life? Learn from mistakes. It's good.
Parents.
Sorry?
Parents.
Parents. Meaning of life? Oh, okay, good. But wait a minute. Keep it. Parents, okay. You know what life is like, our life normally, all right? So, if you try to find a meaning, like how does the parents give a meaning to life? What kind of thing with me parents that will give you a meaning? What's your idea?
Well, you could seek refuge from them.
Okay.
My siblings and I did that a lot.
Okay, now I understand. Your idea is that the whole life is nothing but parents, right? Good. That way, right? Yeah, correct. What about anyone else? He suddenly what? Okay.
Kind of forgot, but I'll try to remember.
You're trying to remember? She just handed over to you. You didn't lift your hand. Don't trouble that sweet boy. He just woke up, No, don't give her. Don't force anyone to ask.
Explore.
Sorry?
Learn.
Learn. Okay. Meaning of life or the purpose of life. Okay. Knowledge. Oh, very good. Yeah. Oh, this knowledge also very good. You know what knowledge?
About everything. Anything you can find.
Okay. To know about everything.
To know. To know.
Sorry? To know. Okay. Yeah. There's something very special to know. It's in knowledge, in direction to knowledge. Okay. Meaning of life. To this. I will let them answer now. Let them give.
But would you like us to share our?
Yeah.
I'll share with myself, but I think if we look at this is a meaning, but I think in simple words, it's to come out of suffering and to be happy. But if we look at all our actions, everything we do from the moment we are born to death, it's always a struggle to run away from to escape suffering and to find relief from suffering. If we look at why a lot of us are here, you can see some of them, they want to escape the suffering of their parents yelling at them, so they come here. So if we look at, from being here.
Your mother still yells at you, does she?
Oh, okay, not mine. Mine, I think, no.
I know
not
your
in that
mom.
way.
Okay.
So I think everyone, if we look at the fundamental drive, I think it's this wanting to be free from suffering, like really deep down. We pursue careers, the money, everything. This is just personal opinion, Bante. So what we are looking for is this freedom from suffering, what we call happiness. But if you ask someone what happiness is, it always ties back to this being free from suffering, I think, and hence where the noble truths and the Buddhist path comes into play. But that's just my personal opinion.
So for me, I think it's just finding peace in life. But yeah, there's also a side of me that, wants to be rich, successful, have that as well. But I also want a happy family life. So I think there's a lot of
You want the full package.
full package. Yeah. I want everything.
Right.
A bit greedy, but I want to
That's
make sure I have a
good.
very fulfilling life. So that's personally what I want. But I understand that in Buddhism, ultimately it's to have that mental peace in your heart as well. So yeah.
Suddenly I'm remembering something. I'll give you a chance, okay? Just give me... Now, because I'm thinking about his full package thing. There are two things in our life. There's the outer world and the inner world. Okay? Did anyone see what a walk for peace recently? That is, these monks walking from... I think that was super thing, And you're passing through one of the most developed, we call the most richest and the most affluent in this modern civilized world, America. Okay? And when they were walking through this, you can notice, they were walking through how people came out. And what was very apparent was that though they were rich in the external world with houses and possessions and all that they were very poor in their inner world, knowledge of the inner world. Okay? So regarding peace and maybe self-realization I can put, so there is that great richness, you must get that. You can get it today, tonight. Just you must know what are the tools and what you should investigate. So knowledge this girl was telling, yes, quite right. And also learning from mistakes is, actually, that is also a very big step, if you can learn from your mistakes. All right? Because if you don't learn from your mistakes, then you're still not started the journey. So, but I would say that, and he was telling all about this, noble truths and all that, how, now the first noble truth, and this, we call this thing of suffering. Okay? Now we are all experiencing that. That is because we don't have the inner richness. So I told you how to get those inner richness, how to be mindful of your steps, how to control your sense desires, how to discipline your main things like, even the certain strongest urges, like make it for 3 days and so on. And there are ways, if you read, listen to it more, and dopamine detox. This information is also there. How to overcome this some ADHA or something, this effect. If you can do those things, you are bringing inner richness to you. And even you want to know this and you can't implement, how to do it with promising yourself at a Buddha statue. Okay? How to get that mystical force, and you see how it start to work. Okay? Because you are bringing something very close to you that will, invisibly start to drive you towards a certain direction. And how to make that promise. And then if you do those things, you'll find a final knowledge will come to you. In this knowledge what you are telling. Okay, that is, in one word, if I say what is the meaning of life, it is that there's no meaning. Okay? So what do you think all these young people? Do you think some old people you see that they were born old? Like they came from a mother's womb, old like that. What do you think? Do you think one time they were like you? They were not like you. Then as you are, you just came out of a mother's womb, is it? Like they were all babies one time and they grew like this. And then what happened to all of them? Finally, do you find anyone 150 or 200 that you see that who is living here? Do you find anyone? No. So it's like birth and there is death. Okay. So finally, whatever you do, you find that you are taken away from death. I know this is a heavy subject. So what happens? Whatever you do, whether successes, you lose something, you get something, it all becomes meaningless. If you can experience this by meditation and wisdom, you don't take seriously the things that are happening to you. You will separate from things that are making you attracted, and you will have that peace of mind because the heavy baggage and load will be less. It can come in your morning meditation. Okay, if you train your mind to relax, rest, hopefully I can try to make you rest, relax. How to do that? Just to give you like a demonstration of the meditation. Something you can do like this, start and discipline yourself, be careful what you are exposed to and choose yourself, no, I'm not going to put this poison to me. And if you start to do that, you will generate energy, okay? And then you'll be able to face whether it's, I feel a little sorry, you have to work. I'm thinking of my father. Maybe he did like that, in England and all that. He had to work, he had to study and all that, okay? So, but with these tools, I think, and getting into this kind of groups so that, and keeping yourself busy at least once a week, somewhere you meet and train. Maybe the group is not perfect, but it will keep you protected and sort of give you a direction always, remind you. And that is very helpful when you're in this kind of country. And then there should be some place where you can charge yourself and energize yourself, inspire yourself. Okay, you must find ways, places, people. And when you keep like that, you'll find you can keep those good energies alive and you will do some super work without being, like overdriven or, like burnout or whatever. So, yeah, you can.
So Bante, we had a question. We have quite short, limited time, but we really wanted to ask this question because there's not many people we can ask this question from. So Bante, the question was quite popular. Having spent extensive periods of time in the Himalayas, which is renowned for its supernatural and mystical aura, have you encountered any extraordinary or supernatural occurrences during your time there? And additionally, have you had the opportunity to meet other remarkable ascetics or spiritual practitioners with unique abilities or insights? We hear very great stories, Mahavata, Babaji, and all these great rishis, and Bante, we'd like, with your permission, if it's okay to share to some of these, give us some inspiration. And thank you, Bante. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Not one, so many things are there for me to keep myself inspired. I have two things, certain inspirations have come in my life. One is from the Buddha's, this path and wisdom. Those things happen like from the Dhamma, which I'm telling people. I think you have got, you are doing the Sutta. What is it? What do you call it? You Sutta studies or what is it?
Sutta study. We're doing the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta at the moment, Bante.
You call it what? The program Sutta studies?
Yes, Bante.
Why is it not Sutta meditation?
Yes, Bante. Actually, I think for someone who's like completely fresh, it's a bit hard for directly to the.
It's just not hard.
Yeah.
It's, when you get it, they have written a lot of notes. Whose book is this? Okay, these words, I know some people have got to know. It's good for you to know also. Like they have read this book 4 times, they say. Now I asked that girl, here only I met her 4 days ago. I asked, why did you read 4 times? He said, I understand it better. There's something in this, a mystical thing in these books, where even I'm giving it very much to the people, because it's not known very much. If you tell suttas, people think in terms of studying it. It's not studying. It opens up your wisdom eye. That has happened something to these venerables also. But I'm telling you what the final wisdom you can get from this. It's called the Dhamma Chakku. That means it shows you that there's no meaning. Okay? It makes you experience it. So then only it is said that, when you see the final principles of life, you see Buddha. Buddha is someone who awakened to that. Okay? His words are here. So the problem is, from words people are trying to get the meaning. Now some of the things he explains here, he didn't tell until the person is ripe enough. His faculties. He had that ability to see the persons, and so we found after 1 year, 5 years, he used to come and then say this teaching. So we don't have him like that. So, but when we don't leave these books, and if you keep meditating and calming the mind, and then have a session of reading, you'll find suddenly you might get those insights. Even the Jatipachya Jara Marana, birth is the cause of old age and death. Okay? These links also has something entirely different experience, if you can have mindfulness, and if you are a meditator, if you can have peace of mind, because the intuition is blocked by our reptilian brain. So that's why this experience of the Dhamma comes always when the reptilian brain is not functioning at all. So when the reptilian brain does not function, when we have samadhi. Okay? Samadhi means we have one thought. When we have one thought, our mind is blissful. Okay, that's where meditation object means you keep on thinking of one particular thing, and suddenly you get like a air condition effect. Your mind feels free and bright. Okay, such a bright mind, when you go through these teachings, suddenly you will see it. It's like for dynamite you put little fire. Okay, a small thing, it just bursts with wisdom. There's such an experience that happens. So even the Buddha became Buddha by overcoming the hindrances, it is called. That means the reptilian brain of sensual desire, anger, aversion, and sleepiness. The opposite of that is faith, mindfulness, and effort, and then wisdom. Wisdom comes from the reading. So if you have a session of, I hope I will try to make you contact with these people who are doing it, so that you will get because there are visions that will come from these books. These are we of course knew from those days in the jungle, in this thing, few monks they did like that. So now still the many monks or any practitioners also still doing the study part too much. They are trying to know these things like, some things we should not know too much. We should realize, not know. Okay? So sometimes people think Bante is teaching very simple teaching. Yes, it's very simple here. But I'm taking you all back to 2,600 years ago, the original master, how it did it. So luckily one person, now what I'm doing, one young like you all, one young person, he very mastered this. He's telling Bante, you have taken the middleman from the Buddha. This is exactly what I've done. Not me actually, my teachers and all that. Okay? So you're fortunate to be standing here in this place where they really focus, Vajrarama and all that, you might not know. It is all preserved the Suttanta. They were known as directing to the Suttanta. Unfortunately, that sects were not very strict, I tell always Madhya Mahanayakandro is so give freedom for anyone to go to Arhatship or Nibbana, and also freedom to go to hell. Both ways it's so they were not very strict. If anyone has old habit to practice, they will be practicing. So actually this is very important, because the real map, even you find Tudong monks in Thailand and all that, even my those monks, but they are not going to the Buddha's words, they have their own methods. So this is, if you have this, use this thing for Dhammanupassana is called, analyzing the nature of things. With that only you will have that deep, it's called Yoniso Manasikara, means thinking from the source, intuitively. That brings Nibbana experience. You see the reality in its final way. So these books, I hope they, this is what I was going to tell is that this way I have experience in something regarding the master. Okay, he was tell me something in the Himalayas, what I have experienced. So I want to tell, I have experience with these books, with my teacher. That was the one I was going to tell you all, with a meditation where you can see the Buddha through the Dhamma. Okay, that was one part of my life that was inspiring me. Okay, it was like the 2,500 years ago, the Buddha himself, from his own words, when I'm meditating, certain experience. But in the Himalayas And mystical experience, I have many. Do you want to hear one or two? How? Which am I going to tell?
I think yes.
Hmm?
Yes, one.
Do you have time? I don't know, one or two, no?
Maybe one. Yeah, this one.
Okay. And telling something. Is it in the Himalayas? Are you talking about Babaji because he's also familiar there? I had one experience with him. When I was having, altitude sickness. It's not only so many, you find the entire divine world is supporting you when you're going on this path. So one, because he mentioned that name.
But it's okay. I think some people wouldn't know who that is. Maybe we can. Yeah, it's you can select one which maybe the audience is familiar with.
Okay.
No,
in Kailash, not only Himalayas, all monks' life. I had many experiences. One I will tell you what happened in Sri Lanka, okay, and then I maybe tell one in Himalayas, very short one. In 2003, I walked from south of Sri Lanka to north of Sri Lanka. This and back again, and it is like 1,500, 300 kilometers. Those days, 98 kilometers LTT, the terrorists, they were controlling. And they have killed actually so many monks in the past. So I cut across, there are many experiences that happened there. But I was not planning to walk back. I was planning to come by vehicle to the monastery in southern Sri Lanka, Island Hermitage. So what happened in Jaffna, in the North Peninsula, Peninsula, how do you pronounce that? Peninsula, okay. And there I was taking rest. And then it was very full of sound in the guest house of the monastery, Naga Vihara it is called. So I went walking, and there are a lot of ancient, the Hindu temples, kovils. So one of the temples I went inside, and it was like very old, nobody there, and I felt some attraction. I meditated. My meditation was very nice. And after meditation, I meet the main priest, and he doesn't know English properly, but in broken little English and Sinhalese, I just told, he knew that I knew about the symbolism of those, idols and things like that. And then I went. Then in the guest house, when I was meditating, I think the next day morning, I normally don't fall asleep like daytime. But suddenly I was having a dream of, I see like that same priest, I thought like that, he's wearing white, and like a fire puja is going on, and the priest was touching my forehead like this. Okay, so, but when he was touching my forehead, I was feeling an out-of-body experience coming, but I didn't want to give in to that. I just want to shake it off. But he kept on pressing, and soon he kept on pressing. I just felt, like I was out of the body, very light, very energized, and I woke up. When I woke up, I felt full of energy. Then I felt I can just even not fly, but fly back to south of Sri Lanka. But then I decided to walk back, actually, after that experience. And also I was thinking whether this, priest was having some special powers. So in the afternoon I walked to that temple. And I went inside the temple. I suddenly saw him. And it was not him. Okay. So anyway, I saw him, so I met him, and just I was wondering what's happened, and I had a conversation little bit. I was looking around meanwhile. Behind him I saw an old picture, and in that picture there were other three priests, two priests or three priests like that, old picture, black and white. Suddenly I saw that picture, the one priest is the one I saw in the dream. So immediately I told him, who is that? In broken English he told, he's the one who made this. And I understood, he said, it's like he was very pure. And he himself told this word, now they are deities. Deity. Like that. And then I can imagine, like that I had several experiences where even monasteries, old monks, dead and gone, you could see, you get their blessings and support when you're going on the path. But in Himalayas, there's so many. Let me see, try to give you Okay, one I give you. I was in the borders of Tibet. Nobody knows, I think, Badrinath. No? Badrinath bordering, it's Indian side. It's a very remote, very high mountain, very beautiful place, nice mountains, Himalayan mountains. Tibet is like a flat place, plateau. But here is like a very beautiful but very steep and icy. So there I was staying in a cave. All right. So I was having problem with the police, the border police. They didn't want a foreigner with the passport staying in the border area. So I'm not touching money, everything, but it's very interesting. They're all miraculous how people came to my help, and I had to go to the district magistrate, get permission, come back again. He gave permission that I could stay 3 months. And again, these guys are causing me problem. Okay? They didn't care about district magistrate, nothing. They just want me to be out. So when I was doing something like that, I would never give up. So problem after problem was coming. Then I knew there was something wrong. I knew that I should not pursue something when, like there may be something better waiting for me. I don't know. So anyway, when I was thinking of these thoughts, actually those days I'm walking 8 kilometers to that cave. Okay? And coming back 8 kilometers for food. For dana, I had to come down like mountains. You have to climb up. Okay? This is like a valley, the Badrinath village. And have you been? No? You should go one day. That will be... So you go down, get the food and go up. And climbing, it takes at least 4 hours. 4 hours. And so I used to stay in a cave where there are like haystack, for my bed. With, it's a very, very rugged kind of thing. So I really want to stay. There's another story why I want to stay there. But then one day there was one Nepali lady who was giving me dana, food, in the village. So when I was crossing the bridge, she was coming. She doesn't know a word of English. She was telling something like it seems very important. So I found someone who can translate, and I asked her, what is she telling? She's telling, last night I saw Bante in my dream. It was like in the same place here where the bridge is. And he gave me his this bag, another one, right? And his begging bowl. And he went into the Himalayas. So just he said that, I'm not going to give my bag because of the dream. Anyway, this same thing happened. Then I left, the problems were too much. I went back to some place called Rishikesh. And there I had my, attendant who takes me around. And he was going another trip, same time, to actually, it's called Amaranath. Okay, very high Himalayas. So he thought, I'm tired, let me rest. In only 2-3 hours, he was going to catch the train. Suddenly, I'm getting a thought that, why I'm just waiting here? Why not I go with him? And soon I went, and I knew he was going to go on a very tough journey. Amaranath is like 3-day trekking. So what I did was, which I never did as a monk, was leave my shoulder bag and my begging bowl, and just my toothpaste, toothbrush, and my double robe, so that I keep the rules of the monastic rules. And then he will give me some food. I will eat that. So I went with him. Soon as I went, I realized that road leads to Leh Ladakh. That is the furthest Himalayas you can get to, like Kailash, same plain. So then I had a friend there actually in Ladakh, and that was my rainy season, the retreat we had to start. Suddenly I realized, why not I go there? And so I had the number of that person, monk actually. I called him and said, I don't have my bowl, I need my books also. Then he said, we have plenty of bowls. We have books also. He said, there's a library and all that. So I went straight there and spent 3 months there. Then I realized that lady's dream that time, I don't know whether it's guided by an angel or a god or whatever, it was exactly so. Because it was better than this Badrinath and everything. I just spent there more deeper Himalayas. So, and I have never gone without a bag and my begging bowl. And like this mystical things, many things happen. I will tell another one that, before I became a monk related with the Himalayas. One time I was very depressed with before I became monk, right? I used to go to Himalayas then also. Like I was very upset because some people who arranged, some program, I felt they were not very honest or really sincere. So we did a walk, and for the Dhamma to rise again and something like that. So I felt they had their own motives. And then what happened after that? I was walking, in the seashore, and suddenly I kind of made in my thought, is there any truth in this world? And when I thought like that, suddenly I saw a face of a certain master. I normally don't like to believe any visions or something like that. So when I saw that, okay, I saw something in the sky. It's about 8 o'clock in the night near the beach. Next day, early morning, around 3 o'clock, I used to sleep in my mother's shrine room. Okay, while I was lying down, I could see in the dark 2 feet. Okay, it's like my mother's feet. So I was feeling shy while I'm sleeping that she's there. I just tried to look at her. Ammi, I was looking like that. And Ammi, like this, when I was looking, suddenly this form just disappeared so fast to a picture. Actually, in the shrine room, my mother has many pictures of deities and all that. And it just disappeared there. If it stayed there, I know I would get a heart attack even at that age. Okay, so then I found certain things following after that, where certain many things happened, certain mystical energies were awakened. It's a long story. Okay, some things I'm blessing you all and all that. These are all given to me by some people who knew when I was ready to serve the people. So they started to follow one after the other. All right. I think.
Thank you so much, very much for sharing these experiences with us, Bante. I think we have time. With the time, it's basically up, but we just have a final question, and I think it'll be a valuable one for all of us. So, Bante, after listening to a Dhamma talk, many of us feel inspired and motivated to change. We all get this energy. But after a few days, we fall back into our old habits and our old self. How can we make this change truly lasting in our lives? Is there maybe, from today onwards, maybe certain practice, maybe a few things we should do to make the real change lasting?
There are real questions you're asking. They'll be asked 1,000 times, I think, because I know your problems, it's not easy. The common problem. Like a car, when you put petrol, right? You go on, and what do you do when the petrol goes down? You go to a station and pump again. So you have to have a regular, this kind of meeting and inspiring. What gave you that inspiration? You have to make sure it is very systematically repeated. So that's why I told to make groups, even the ones I'm doing now this, Sutta. I hope, there are some who have now, they have mastered that, how to get the vision. So what they do is they relax, wait, lying down on the floor, and then they read a bit, like that. So they get the idea of meditating on this, rather than getting a knowledge from this, because they were in the retreats and they have some idea that there's something happening like that. But I told to the younger ones to add those other, spectrum of Buddhism and all that, and some general knowledge for their life, and then have a training of this also. And to monitor those other things, hopefully, that they are really, you have to find some way to really do that. And maybe to take some energy places in nature. Have a meeting where they get some special training, like commandos have special training than the police, right? So when you get those kind of little trainings, you have that, some energy to develop your character and keep it sustained for some time. All right, and regarding the Buddha statue and all that, hopefully if you can daily do it at your home, you're putting some special petrol daily from your home, okay, like a charger. All right, and like these things I hope you can do. Let's see. There has to be a kind of a gathering time to time who have the like-minded. That will give you a protection and continuity. If you find on your own practically you are doing it, okay, do it. But if you find practically it's not happening, better you have that group connection and have a kind of meeting once a week, twice a week, or twice a month or something like that.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Bante. With like meditation, when like Buddha Vandana, meditation, precepts, sila, and meditation. With meditation, Bante, which meditation objects? Everyone likes to do the anapanasati. Do you recommend any particular techniques for the youth, Bante, or any daily ones? Daily practices?
Sorry?
Any daily practices, Bante, you recommend for us?
Yeah, I suggest, like, for example, like to have something to give you some inspiration. So normally when I go, you have, some kind of music and all that, okay? These are not just music. Some of them I have chosen, but unfortunately people who are close to me, like in Sri Lanka and others, they are too much still traditional. They don't, because there are a lot of comments and criticism coming. But people who are criticizing and giving comments, they are not from good people. They are people, they themselves are not going on the path, and if people who are going on the path telling, it's okay. So I had to remind them, just don't care about this. I'm a senior monk now. I can do whatever I want. Okay, because if we don't do it, it will just die. Think of the main things I'm giving. This is kind of an energy you must get, a feeling, an emotion. Then you can continue longer. You understand? When it is just a sadhu, nothing will happen. And one is close to the animals, they just wag the tail. Okay? This special brain, this special will, this special energy has to awaken in you. Then you are able to withstand those other impacts of the, I see that even I see the people who are very sharp and clever, they have good mind, but they have energy loss. Like a vampire is taking the energy away. So I don't know how, I also don't know, I hope this, the statues and things like this can reverse that process. When I look at them, or when I see the aura, some of them, I do see that energy has been somehow, they've been sucked from somewhere. So I hope that even these blessings or these things will break that whatever cycle. And self, you can also do. Self, each person can, learn to tap that, hopefully. And then daily basis, if you can do, I'm sure that will be reversed and you will be changed. This is what I see. After certain periods, you just try to hang on, and suddenly you have to go like you are putting into the mud. Again, you are going a spell of this thing. So I think it will work if you have a Buddha statue. Do that commitment and making that promise with that ritual and with that intention. See how it works. Let's see. Next time when I meet, hopefully we can see whether it really had an effect. Okay? Because you might think it's so simple, whether it will work, you might have this question. But I know one special monk. I don't want to tell him. Who has made an impact in the present time, a young monk. If you guess, I will tell he's right, he's the one. But if you don't, I can't tell for some reason. How has it come out like that? He has made a promise, okay? When he saw things he's breaking, things he's going out of track, he has done like that. He has made the promise like that, for rest of my life I'm not going to break it. And he has remembered the place he did it, okay? And like the place, like your room maybe, you had a Buddha statue, visualize it, that you made the promise in this kind of place. And see whether you'll be able to stick to that longer. And he has managed to do like that. You know what he says? Very interesting. When you continue to do good without putting yourself to the mud, keeping yourself clean, then for many lifetimes you have good karma waiting. It can't come out. It doesn't have a platform to come out. When you continue, then it suddenly starts to overflow. Then you see externally that person is, really, he's having a special life. So I am telling you these tools. Then you can have the whole package. Don't worry. Okay, you can have the whole package. Your mind is somewhere else now. Okay, thinking how to get the package, right? Okay, don't worry. Definitely you all can do this. Okay. I've given you some tools. Remember these things carefully. There must be a recording of this in case you forget some points. Try to get those points. Even about no-fab, dopamine detox. Implement those things into your life. Getting your parents' blessings. These things will all make you internally very strong. And try to watch this mindfulness, when you're taking the steps toward the tram or something, not to look unnecessary things. So start in the morning. Try this and place your attention to the present moment. The simple things. Okay, like the flow, people rushing, passing you, just pay that attention, not overthinking too much. You might run again because your mind is used to overthinking. Again, remembering, Bante is told like this, remind again to just pay for the simple things. and just see how you're walking. Just try to notice, try to develop that type of attention, which we normally don't do. Then we will try to get that inner peace, because we are going inward then. Okay, because we are going to the present moment. From present moment to inward is very near.
Bante, it reminds me of something in the Aranya, I think, sutta by the Buddha. Someone asked, Devata asked the Buddha, why are these monks, they eat one, they consume, have one meal a day, in the forests, like, why are their faces so beautiful and so peaceful? I think that was the word, peaceful. And the Buddha said it's because, I think Bante, of course you know this one, is they don't consume the past, they don't hanker over the future, and they are in the present, and that is why they're so peaceful.
That's a very good point. It was asked also about actually Themiya Jataka, where he was in such a rugged place, and then in the Himalayas actually, and then his parents and they came, they were in the castle and everything. They found such a place, you look so bright, you look so beautiful, and how is it? He said, we don't hanker the past. Hanker, no? Past, okay. We don't, think the future, which is not existing. We live in the present moment, so we don't lose our vitality. You understand? Mental vitality comes in the mind, not from ginseng or vitamins. You understand? It's very little, but they make it such a big this thing to sell it out.
Red Bull gives you wings, that's the quote, Bante.
Okay. Anyone, you like to ask anything before finally
I'd also like to say I'm very sorry. We were planning to do like a live Q&A with this app and getting the questions, but it just with the time constraints, Bante.
So because I came late?
No, Bante, I don't like to say it like that. I think everything happens for a good reason, Bante. So yes.
I feel very bad. I am the people waiting near the door in that place, and then I need a small. I call my makeup. I had to do my little meditation. Then to come took time.
I see in the pictures of Buddha, like the ones on the wall, Lord Buddha seems to have some sort of aura, a sort of light. Can normal people have it, or is like, how does that work?
The aura.
Yeah, the aura. The light.
Oh, okay, in the pictures. Oh, yeah. That's yes.
How does that work? I'm really confused.
When you have actually this kind of aura comes very much when you have selfless compassion coming out of you. It has a blue light. They normally the machines, they like the Russians, they used to have Kirlin or something, no? Kirlin. Yeah, they had this thing how to look at it, like compassion emanates that blue light. But people would also notice, some people saints, that's why it's very clear that it's like, it's mainly coming from selfless. As I told you, ojas, tejas, like there's a shine in the skin and the body. And the same way, the aura also can come. Aura, okay? It can this thing. Just said the Buddha had an aura for 1 kilometer, they have said. 1 kilometer he was having the aura. So from 1 kilometer, people would feel, this is not from the text, it's from another source.
Which source? Which source?
It is from like like certain ancient, you could say the Indian yogis. There's some idea that Buddha had this kind of aura. 1 kilometer. Yeah, it can happen. It can. If you also develop metta after metta bhavana in the morning, if you come out, people will feel that you're different. Now I see people who are in the retreat. I'm not going to sort of try to advertise this, but anyway, I see the 3rd day, 4th day, their entire this thing changes. I really delight when I see that, because I can see I have given them like a new life, in the retreat. Because there are stages. I tell normally the Buddha Guna is working, the qualities of the Buddha, the power is working in the retreat. And the other one is called cosmic, Vishwa Shakti means cosmic energy is also coming in that retreat. And the other one is Arya Jnane, the knowledge of the Aryans, that is knowledge of the final knowledge of self. That is as a realizational exercise is done in that program. So I tell people to stay in silence, because silence is the one that you will get that particular, those special knowledge and insight. Okay, that's why the yogis stay in silent places, because it is said that even the first level of samadhi, the obstacle is sound. So when you are like in that state of samadhi or concentration, you are not very much disturbed by the sounds. But to attain that sound is a disturbance around you. And when you are in that first samadhi, your mind is bright. Then only you can have those insights. So somebody says in silence only God speaks. Have you heard? Like some say, okay, that God speaks in silence. That's why people go to pray and do things in silence. All right. So you can attain samadhi in silence also, and then you can attain this special, you could say, visions of the Dhamma in silence. That is helpful. So if your mind frees from greed, hate and delusion so much, you create such a race around you. Okay, that can happen.
Thank you, Bante. As we come to an end of today's discussion, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our Venerable Bambalapitiye Gnanaloka Thero for generously sharing his wisdom and guidance with us. Today's session has reminded us of how relevant and practical the Dhamma truly is, and in our daily lives. May we all take something from today and begin to apply it in our own lives. Sadhu.
Bante, may all the wholesome merits that we've gained and that you gained made it lead you to the final realization of Nibbana Sambuddha Pamujjati Nibbana Paccaya Hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
I was going to share something about consciousness, and I have shared it before also, but added things. Hopefully you have gone through that, I guess. The conditioned nature of consciousness, and consciousness is hardly known in the modern times, but is well understood in the by the Buddha's teaching. So I hope you get some knowledge, because Buddha's final teachings are about what we are made up of. We have a body, and we have mainly consciousness. Okay, so I hope you can. Because I just thought suddenly what you might need practically to do, nothing about how to think of the Dhamma and get the deepest wisdom, that how things are no meaning. I just only told, but I hope they will explain to you, and they will guide you one day, very soon, so that you will get those knowledge to your hand and to your practice, and come to peacefulness, and really you can master, and you will feel fulfilled in this life. Not from school or by achieving something. You will feel you have achieved already what you want, what must be achieved in life. That will happen very soon, I hope. You have more good karma than me, I feel. Okay? So try to do those practical things. I told about no fab, dopamine detox, these things, and your lifestyle. Try to get that peacefulness. But then, not just to be peaceful, learn to know the deepest secrets of life that you can get from these books. And as I told you, if you just read once and then you leave it, that means you don't know about the vision you get from it. Okay? Like you have 3D experience in some pictures. So it is not 3D in a visual way. It's a 3D related with your wisdom eye. We know about the third eye. There's a wisdom eye that can awaken. Okay? This is something, I think the greatest experience you can have in life. Even having experience with yogis and all that. That is okay, that gives you faith about the unseen world and feel a protection and a working of the unseen world. But this is about the whole universe, how it's working. It's nothing but consciousness of different levels. And you know how it arises and how it can completely stop. And stopping it is the one that will stop you from again rising to any kind of suffering. So this Buddha's solution is a finer solution. So these things I just told in short words now. Because my target, whether you're young or old, is to take you, hopefully one day, hopefully even this meeting will inspire you to get the highest you can get from the teaching. Not necessarily because you're Buddhist. I have been searching also without that bias. Okay, and then with some experience, it comes to you. So I hope you have time with those books like Narada Thera's Nutshell in Buddhism, and spectrum of Buddhism. So it becomes slowly you learn in that direction of thinking with your modern day situation. And if you have some similar books explaining that way, you can add that. Yeah.
We have the Word of the Buddha Bante
This
in the
one,
library.
but this is
exact
also
book.
like a structure with the suttas.
Yeah, we have Noble Eightfold Path by Bhikkhu Bodhi in the Buddha's words. We have what the Buddha taught. We have a lot of Bhikkhu Bodhi, Gnanaloka Thero. A lot of those.
Do they
We
have any
German Hamdru's PDF is there, which I share with close friends. The Jnana Vimala Mahathera, your
inspiration,
teacher,
pure inspiration.
pure inspiration book.
And there's a new book coming of 30 years of my writing notes in small piece of paper in the kuti. It will come out very soon.
I think in that book, Bante, everyone's stories were there. I think Bante's
Yeah,
stories are the ones
because,
missing.
Now
So that's be
it's
very
coming.
valuable.
I was waiting for the time, and those notes, some of the notes I left with people when I'm going to the Himalayas or the deep jungle. If I don't come back, that for them to publish it. So luckily now the notes are there. I'm also there, so for some time. So they are nicely done by a gentleman like you. I will try to. I just tell you how to connect to them and even how to do the sutta, as a meditation.
Please,
I think that's a very revolutionary thing. It must be done.
Definitely,
Mm.
Bante.
So this is no one is doing that, because they are only just level of scholars, not that in the way of really practicing. And then you know the map how it works. Then it's like a treasure, treasure hunt. What is this treasure map? So there's a way. If you go only, you know what are the places, pointers, and then if you do find the treasure, you know this is the real book, real treasure map. So there one Sarnai. I'm glad you have wonderful elders like this, and they're still young. You can sort of they can guide you very well. You're very fortunate to have a thing like this here. You're really fortunate. Make use of it. Okay, I can see a little brightness in you all. Otherwise, you were a little in a worried state before. Hopefully, okay. Last time when we had it was whole full when I came 10 years back, and the parents were in another hall somewhere there. They were all so concerned. There was no program like this happening then. So this is a wonderful thing started, and I'm sure you can go a long way and make a mark and a revolution in the coming time. You see, a lot of things are happening, a lot of like outward instability and all that. But for all this will be to develop yourself. It will have a mystic, I can't have no time to tell about it. They will have a mystical effect on toppling those events in the outside world. Okay? There is that force in meditation and self-focus. Do that. Maybe in one of the other talks you might know how I have explained that. These things happen. If you can do that, it will start to affect the country, it will start to affect the world around you, and world what you hear and see. Okay, don't think 5 minutes of meditation is so inactive and so on. There is a soft power that you have to activate. Those soft power is an invisible thing that will work for real constructively for the well-being and protection of the world that we call, because when this real world is healed and this thing that starts to have a reflection on the world outside. All right. I feel a little bit this thing, what to do. Okay, but I wish you good luck. All right. I bought this book. Anyway, you see some of the I just do a little meditation just to stop this. Just learn to relax your body as you're seated. Okay. Relax means hopefully you should have been relaxed all this time. Now you're and I should do something, if you to see whether you're really relaxed. Okay. Malik. Don't meditate, just relax, okay? Wait, Putra. So in meditation, you must first learn to do that. Even in bed, you can learn to, so many diseases will disappear from you. Stress and all that. When you sit down also, I feel like trying on them because they're doing a lot of work, they're burnout. Puta, okay, now we don't have time, right? Learn to rest completely, relax the body, okay? Then, when you're resting like this, pay attention to the sounds you're hearing. Pay attention to the sounds you're hearing. Listen to the sounds, whatever you're hearing. When you're properly listening, here you don't hear much sound. If you keep on hearing relaxingly, you will notice a certain function in your body, inside your body, that you're inhaling and exhaling. When you have noticed it now, when I say you will notice now, not like that. When you're paying attention and keep holding to that, listening to the sounds, it will come naturally to you where you're noticing you're inhaling and exhaling. When it comes, you know you have come to the present moment. Okay? That's how you should be reading these books, and even when you can bring back to the present moment, you must do this. Okay? So then you can visualize your body seated like from outside, all while relaxing. And you can picture your own body, say in your mind, if you are free from anger, if you're free from greed, if you're free from hate, then delusion, how peaceful I would become. Normally enlightenment is equated to not having these negative feelings. If I am free from that, how peaceful I will be. And realizing that there's no meaning to life, that I will not attach to anything in the world, how peaceful I'll be. This same peace may be experienced by everybody in the hall. Feel they are all like me. They all want to be happy and joyful. Therefore, may they get this peace. May they all be at rest. All who are in this Berwick area, like you're going in a helicopter, and the entire Melbourne, and the entire Australia, like from above space you're looking, and then you could say Indonesia, Jakarta, Sumatra, Borneo, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, North Korea, South Korea, Malaysia, Singapore, Hawaii, Papua New Guinea, Tonga, Fiji, Maldives, Seychelles, Madagascar, Trinidad, Bahamas, West Indies, all this particular thing, in India and Russia, China, then the Middle East. With the out-breath, all the while relaxing, visualize those places. Africa in general, Europe, UK, America, North, South, and Canada, entire planet with its islands, all human beings that are inhibiting from outside, you wish them, may they be free from greed, hate, delusion, and suffering. Just visualize them. May they really, each person, like babies, that they will all generally have an idea about it. Like from out of space, you wish for the whole planet. Not only all human beings, animals, so many billions of them. May they get a human birth and go on this path. And the demons and all other unseen spirits, may they get a human birth and go on this path. And there are lower dimensions too, They are called Vetarani. I have no time. Actually, I have to explain how there are some proof of their living. Those such states do exist. And people who had an experience of it. So they also get a human birth. They are like stuck sometime in prison. We feel on this planet, people who are in prison, we feel sorry for them. So, but there are other places where people are stuck. And the lowest, may they get a human birth and may they be at peace. And the above also there are divine worlds. May their anger, greed, delusion decrease. And the highest worlds there are. So every creature, every sentient being, from top to bottom in your mind's eye, you wish them blissfulness, happiness, peace and wisdom. Keep visualizing and keep wishing them. And with that, after some time, you can watch the breath, the in-breathing, out-breathing, how it's touching your nostril. Pay attention to that. Leave that thought also and just try to just watch how the in-breath touching, out-breath touching. Meanwhile, relaxing, letting go everything. Like this can be a meditation. You can do it in the morning. Then a little bit reading you can do in one of these books. Okay. It's about the elements. Buddha doesn't talk in terms of electrons and protons. He talks in terms of nature, hard nature, fiery nature, liquid nature. So he tells like the hard nature things that are made in our bodies, like our bones, teeth. So if you look at, you hit the bone in your cheek and hit the mic here or the table, in terms of hardness, there's no difference. It's a visualization of root truth. So when you see there's no difference, because it's in this space, we get the idea it's like me, I. But when we look, visualize that, we feel there's no difference, then we can eliminate that. Then there's liquid nature, like the blood in the body and the blood in the tap. So when you look at it, visualize it, you find there's no difference. You can see the urine in your stomach or your this thing, uterus or bladder. So the urine, when it's inside, you think it's my urine. But when it goes to the toilet and mixes with the water, then you get the idea this is only my idea. Like that, there's a way how to remove the idea of ego or a selfhood associated with the body. So these exercises, when you do, you see that your idea of an ego or a self, a delusion disappears. And the other thing is, you can't get consciousness without a body. When you begin to see the body is not you, then every conscious experience is also not you. So in the consciousness only you realize this is my mom, this is my father, this is Bante seated, talking like this. All that is because you're conscious. So if the body is not you, the consciousness is also not you. Like that, there's a way how to separate your mind from even conscious, whatever you're conscious of. That's a very deep practice. And when you do that, if someone comes shouting or anything happens, you're not affected. This is the path to enlightenment actually. I don't go too much to that. So when you read these things, you will get some knowledge about that and practically do it. Then you will master your mind. From young age, you can train this. You're not too young. I'm sure you are very capable of attaining most higher things with a fresher mind. Okay? So good luck to all of you and transfer all these merits. Little bit I touched on some deep things in the book, okay? If you can listen to the recording, maybe it will be a meditation for you in a very short way. So all blessings, all wishes, And definitely Bante's certain thing will, from the Himalayas and the jungles, some energy of the thing. Hopefully we will discuss with your here leaders that in the future, not these talks or anything, we try to do something practical which will bring some, some transformative energy from you. I'm thinking of walking from the airport to here or somewhere, and maybe staying in the parks, like this, make a maybe we might discuss something out of the box, okay? So that we develop our will force and blessings to this land, one thing. And also, doing a self-practice, all right? And then not expecting anything, but then it will break that inertia, that lifelessness, that old ancient, this thing is coming to this land too, okay? People can even serve Pindapata on the way, and people who are even maybe want to come behind, we will try to do that. I just maybe discuss with them, because we must, before we die, we must do something for, now it's all sleeping like this. Just wake up, and not only here, Sri Lanka, everywhere, okay? So hopefully we should not allow that, never. We should even vow that we will come back roaring before this sasana should never go down. It should become awakened and live in the people, and then they could get energy to transform themselves and go on. It should happen. Okay, this is not a small joke. If one doesn't do like that, this human birth, the person, is a rare, very rare thing, and a very valuable birth. Animals can't think like this. They're just fixed to a certain routine, automatic way of living. We can step out of the box and then do something, think about life and know the secret of it. So we should awaken that part of our life. We should never go, untapped. All right. I'm very glad at least my trip became some light seeing you all, tell you honestly. It was like, I was wondering what's happening. And I never knew about this program actually yesterday. So really it's not waste from coming all the way from Sri Lanka. Actually this is the time I could be in the Himalayas, in the jungle. Okay, but anyway, still the calling is happening to me that I should do this still going on. So I hope it will definitely you'll have to change, something will happen to you. Otherwise something wrong with my meditation too. Okay, because this will and force will be powerful, it has to work for you. For your good and for your well-being. So all this good karma that you acquired by today, sitting like this and trying to, not easy to think of your parents, relations and all ancestors, for everybody living, who are seen and unseen, all noble beings who are going on this path, and 32 crores of devatas who protect this, practice and this knowledge towards enlightenment, this particular dispensation of the Buddha. May they all receive this good karma. And all people in this country, human beings, they get some inspiration, especially the Sri Lankan community. Know their ancient heritage and awaken that, the real, you could say, the vision of the master, and make it practical. So other human beings also get a share of this good peace. They are lacking this, you could say, they lack this richness in the inner world. So you have a great gift, but if you also don't have how to give it, okay, by your behavior. There was one girl I got to know, she used to buy a very small thing in Manchester or somewhere from the supermarket. Then she was so peaceful and she emanated so much, happiness and joy. So the shopkeeper noticed always she buys something very small, and she asked, how you're so happy and you look so always so positive. She said, I am a Buddhist. She was a Sri Lankan girl. So then they all want to know what Buddhism was. Okay, so it's actually by what you are experiencing emanating. You can see all these people with long faces, straight faces, very there's nothing. So and they are so weak, and they are in a big trouble. They are now they wrote, some of them who actually had a very nice program in Sydney, where it was out of the normal crowd. There's one lady really went out and she arranged everything. Where these people, they have written why they are coming to meet me. One is telling like pending, what is this separation. Then what is this needy daughter. There's so much things are going in my mind like that. So then there are solutions for this here. So that you can definitely get, and you must give it to others too. So much blessings to all of you. Dharme shaktiya labetva sansara perapina matvetva. Perad bhave punya balaya, may all the good karmas from previous life come to your life, and that you never go to a state of suffering, but go from happiness, to highest peace, nibbana. Supatvetva, dukhim detva, sansara perapim matvetva, dharma shaktiya dharma balaya, Bhagwan ananta guna balaya, ashirvadak vetva. Right. बोधिन वහන්සේගේ අනන්ත බලයක් සෝම ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේලාගේ ඒ පාරමී බලයක් මේ මහා යතිවරයන් වහන්සේලාගේ සියලු දුතංගධාරී මහා සංඝරත්නය උත්තමයන් වහන්සේලාගේ උත්තම ප්‍රතිපත්ති පූජාව මේ පොළොවේ සම්පත් all the souls, young souls, who are all born, may they get protection and willpower to make a difference in this planet. The entire nations, all living beings with that strength, awaken that peace and the truth towards this ultimate goal. May the Master's immense good qualities awaken the ones who are on this path. Samsara perapinamati sili bada purina amadapaka Try to keep silence tonight. You can take some food. Keep this energy until tomorrow morning. This will give you a special push in your life. Close your eyes for 2-3 minutes. Relax and close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Tulaputala, Thirvan Saranai. So, apologies, it took a bit extra time, but those who know, your parents will tell you that blessing that the Bante is giving at the end usually is very powerful, and you could see that he really wanted to give it to you. So that extra 1 hour that took, we were here, so apologies, we couldn't finish on time, but at least you got something really. So the Dhampasala is now finished. Therefore, you can use both those to go out. Under 18s, Chintaka, you can